Hello friends, this is Dr. Amit Singh Thakur, Assistant Professor, IPS Academy, Indore, and I am here at Department of Chemistry, Institute of Science and Research. Today, we are going to study one of the important parameter that is used in QC and QA department of pharmaceutical industry, that is limit test of chlorides and sulfates. What is a limit test? It is the test that is used to test the impurities in pharmaceutical products or raw materials of pharmaceutical products. It is a qualitative test, not a quantitative test. So, we are estimating the quality of a product or raw material. It is mostly a visual evaluation, not data analytical evaluation, not data we are using. We are visually analyzing the differences between the two standard and test cell sample. Officially, it is used in different types of pharmaceutical pharmacopoeia. For example, Indian pharmacopoeia, United States pharmacopoeia, European pharmacopoeia, and Japanese pharmacopoeia. So it is an official method of estimating the purity of a substance. Specifically in pharmaceutical industry, and today we are going to study the limit test of two important impurities that are chloride and sulfate. These are the two common impurities that are available in most of the pharmaceutical ingredients, products and raw material. And these are commonly available. So, we have to study its limit so that we can avoid the contamination in samples. So, first we will study limit test of chloride. What are the chemicals required to study the limit test of chloride? Dilute nitric acid, silver nitrate and sodium chloride. Dilute nitric acid of 10% solution, silver nitrate 5% solution, and sodium chloride, it will be used as a standard to compare the test solution or the sample under study. The principle behind this technique, this limit test of chloride is, it is basically a chemical reaction between silver nitrate and soluble chlorides in the sample. And this reaction is carried out in the presence of dilute nitric acid. When the reaction is carried out, at the end of the reaction, we observe an obsolescence that is due to silver chloride, what we are having, silver chloride. So, this is the chemical reaction where chloride, we are having chloride that is reacted with silver nitrate, we are here reacting silver chloride in soluble form and it is reacted with silver nitrate. Then in presence of HNO3, we form AgCl and nitrate is released. So, AgCl, this AgCl is responsible for the opalescence or turbidity in the solution. And we compare the turbidity of this AgCl with the standard and sample solution. We will move forward. What is the procedure behind this? First, initially, we are studying test sample. We are simultaneously moving to the both test sample and standard sample. Test sample here means the sample which is under study, the sample to which we are going to study and which is under study. First, we have to prepare the solution of the sample as suggested by pharmacopoeia, and after that solution, we will take 1 ml of solution of sample in Nessler cylinder. Now, important thing, this is one of the glassware that is very rarely used. So, I am having Nessler cylinders. This is a Nessler cylinder. Okay, we will use it in practicals right now after this theory session. It is a flat bottom flask. Okay, and it's like test tube. It is 50 ml component. We are having a mark over here. It is a 50 ml component. So, we will use it in practicals right after this theory session. After taking 1 ml of sample solution, we will add 1 ml of nitric acid, dilute nitric acid, 10% dilute nitric acid. And after it, we will dilute the solution to the 50 ml mark, what I have shown in the Nessler cylinder. We will dilute it to the 50 ml solution to mark and add 1 ml of silver nitrate. After adding 1 ml of silver nitrate, we will will find that there is some turbidity appearing or obsolescence appearing in that solution. We will observe the turbidity. The same procedure what we have analyzed for test sample, we are going to study about standard sample, from which we will compare this test sample. This test sample will be compared with a standard that is mentioned in pharmacopoeia. This is standard sample. We will take 1 ml of 0.05845 percentage weight by volume, I repeat weight by volume, solution of sodium chloride in Nessler cylinder. 1 ml solution, it is prepared by dissolving 0.5845 gram of NaCl in 1 liter of solution. So, we will having a weight by weight volume solution. To this 1 ml solution, we will add 1 ml of nitric acid and then dilute this solution into 50 ml by using distilled water in a Nessler cylinder. There is a mark over there, and then we will add 1 ml of AgNO3 and we will find opalescence or turbidity. Okay, and then we will compare the test with standard. We will compare this test sample and standard sample. We are having turbidity in both the solution. For example, I will come to that. We are having turbidity in this particular test sample and also in the standard sample. We will compare the intensity or darkness of the turbidity, how much turbid it is, between the test sample and standard sample. And we are having two different inferences. But if the opalescence or turbidity is less as compared to the standard sample, the turbidity of test sample is less as compared to standard sample, the solution is or the sample is said to pass the limit test. The sample is said to pass the limit test if the opalescence or turbidity of sample solution is less than the standard solution. And another inference is, we will find that the opalescence is higher. We will be having higher opalescence. Then if in the concept of higher opalescence, we will say that solution failed the limit test. The sample fails the limit test. If the turbidity or opalescence of sample solution is higher to the standard sample, it is said to be failing the limit test. So, we are having two inferences or we are having two results, that either the solution or the sample will pass the limit test or sample will fail the limit test. And this is governed or this is studied by comparing with the standard solution. So, the concentration of chloride should be less to the standard solution to be the sample good or useful for the pharmaceutical production or pharmaceutical use. So, there could be two type of results, either the sample fails limit test or pass. Failing the limit test means it is having more chloride as compared to the standard level mentioned in pharmacopoeia. Now, let us move to the lab where we will study the practical demonstration of this limit test of chloride, and we will practically understand how the chemical reaction proceeds and how we can understand the chemical reaction and observe the turbidity or opalescence of sample and compare it with the standard one. Let us move to the lab. Welcome to the practical part of this limit test of chloride. So, initially we will understand what are the chemicals we are having. We are having three basic chemicals over here. One is, this is nitric acid, silver nitrate, 5% solution, and we are keeping it in an amber color bottle to avoid any chemical reaction. The silver nitrate solution, it reacts or it decomposes in presence of light. So, we have kept it in an amber color bottle. Then we are having a nitric acid, dilute nitric acid, and standard chloride solution. We are having standard chloride solution and distilled water for to make up the solution. And we are having two samples One is sample B and sample A, two samples we are going to study. In these two samples, we are going to study the limit test of chloride. Either this sample will pass or fail the limit test. We are having two Nessler cylinder over here, and we will carry out the practical in this Nessler cylinders. So, before moving, we will add both the solutions, both the sample solution in our Nessler cylinder, and I will take third Nessler cylinder in which we will pour standard solution. So, we are having three Nessler cylinder. In one we are using A, sample A, sample B in second one, and in the third one we are going to use standard chloride solution, that is made by using NaCl. We have already discussed it in theory class, theory part. So, first I will take 1 ml of each in Nessler cylinder, for which I will be using a matching cylinder. First I will rinse it. We will take 1 ml of sample solution. We can use pipette also. Okay. We have taken 1 ml of sample A in this Nessler cylinder, which are previously rinsed with distilled water. We have washed it previously. Now, I will be taking sample B. So, in both the Nessler cylinder, we have used 1 ml of solution A and B. We will compare this with standard solution of chloride. We will take 1 ml of standard solution of chloride. First, I will rinse the matching cylinder. We are raising the matching cylinder now. I have taken 1 ml of sample, this standard solution, and pouring it in the third Nessler cylinder. So, by this way we have taken we are preparing three solution. One is for sample A, one is for sample B, another is for as a standard solution which I am keeping over here. Now, to this solution we will add nitric acid. Okay. We can add up to 1 ml of nitric acid each. The nitric acid in this sample solution will allow the feasibility of ionization and the reaction of silver nitrate with soluble chloride. So, we will add 1 ml of nitric acid in both the 3 solution, one is sample A, sample B and standard solution. So, I measured 1 ml of nitric acid in sample A, one of nitric acid in sample B, and finally 1 ml of nitric acid in standard sample. So, now we have poured nitric acid in all the 3 solutions in sample A, sample B and standard solution. Now, I will be making the solution up to 50 ml mark. We are having a mark over here. Here we can see, please show the mark. Now, here this is the mark, it is 50 ml mark, and we will fill the all the 3 Nestler cylinder up to this mark. This is 50 ml mark. We will fill it with the distilled water. Carefully. We fill it to the mark. This is sample A. The same procedure will be followed for sample B and for standard solution. For sample B, this is standard solution. Now, we have poured distilled water in all the 3 solutions, sample A solution, sample B, standard solution for chloride. Now, I will add silver nitrate and the reaction will be start, and we will observe opalescence or turbidity in all the 3 samples. Now, we are using silver nitrate, 1 ml of silver nitrate in all the 3 Nestler cylinder. One ml and sample A, we will start the observation of opalescence in it. One ml in sample B. One ml in standard solution. We will observe the turbidity or opalescence. This is the sample A. Okay. We can use a stirrer for it. Okay, show the turbidity. We will compare the turbidity of sample A with the standard solution first. Now, we are comparing the turbidity of sample A with sample standard solution. Okay. What we are observing, the turbidity is nearly same, or we can observe the turbidity of sample A is lighter as compared to the standard solution. So, we see it, the sample passes the limit test. We can see it again, please. Okay. The turbidity is same. We are having no difference in turbidity, and for sample B, okay. Now, please, we are observing that we are having higher turbidity in sample B as compared to sample A. Now, this one is this is sample B, and we can differentiate the turbidity between standard and sample B. We are observing that it is having much turbidity, no good reflections. So, it is said to be failing the limit test. We can observe it clearly. Now, we are going to compare the opalescence or turbidity of sample A with standard one. Now, we are going to this one. We are going to see this one, that the turbidity of this is the sample A and this is standard in my left hand. So, what we are observing, the turbidity is nearly same and there is no much difference, and it is the sample A is much lighter as compared to standard solution. So, I call this sample A to pass the limit test, as it is having less turbidity as compared to the standard solution, and whereas we are using sample B over here. We will compare it. We are observing the opalescence or turbidity. We observe that the sample B is having much more turbidity as compared to the standard solution. So, the sample B fails the limit test. So, by this technique we can identify the limit test or limits of chloride in a sample, or we can consider it fails the limit test of chloride or passes the limit test of chloride. Actually, the concentration of chloride must be less in all the ingredients and products as compared to standard solution or standard parameter set. Thank you. Now, next practical or next compound or next impurity that we are going to study is sulfate. It is limit test of sulfate. We have already studied the limit test of chloride, and we have observed the differences between the opalescent of standard and test sample. Now, we will study the limit test of sulfate in the given sample, the same sample which we have studied for the limit test of chloride. The chemical reagent with what you are requiring is hydrochloric acid, barium sulfate reagent. It is, I repeat, it is barium sulfate reagent, not barium sulfate solution. I will come to that, how we are preparing it. It is 5%. So, we are having basically two basic solution that we have to prepare: dilute hydrochloric acid 10% and 5% barium sulfate reagent. Now, how we are preparing this one? This is the main chemical, and then potassium sulfate. Barium sulfate reagent, it is prepared by mixing 15 ml of 0.5 m BaCl2. So, it is prepared by mixing 15 ml of 0.5 m BaCl2 barium chloride with 55 ml of water, 20 ml of sulfate free ethanol and 0.181 weight by volume potassium sulfate. So, we are having 3 chemicals in it: barium chloride 0.5 m, 20 ml of sulfate and 0.0181 percentage weight by volume potassium sulfate. We are mixing this 3 solution and we make up this solution to 100 ml, and it is said to be as barium sulfate reagent, as we are using this in sulfate limit test. What is the principle? In this, it is also a chemical reaction, the same chemical process that we have used in chloride test. It is also a chemical reaction between barium soluble sulfate and barium chloride. So, in this limit test of sulfate, we are having reaction between barium chloride and soluble sulfate in presence of hydrochloric acid. Okay. So, barium chloride, when reacts with soluble sulfate in presence of hydrochloric acid, it gives barium sulfate, that is insoluble in water, and it forms turbidity. Here is the reaction. What we are going, barium, you are having barium chloride, sulfate, soluble sulfate, in presence of HCl, it forms barium sulfate. Now, this barium sulfate is insoluble in water and it forms turbidity or opalescence, that is compared with the standard one. So, we will compare the turbidity of barium sulfate in different solutions, the one is test solution or in standard solution. This is the procedure. Come on, we are moving to the procedure part. So, first we will dissolve the suggested amount of sample in distilled water, and of that sample solution, we will take 1 ml into the Dester cylinder, what we have already shown. And to this solution, we will add 2 ml of dilute HCl, and we will add water to it around 41 ml, so that the solution reached up to 45 ml mark. And we will add 5 ml of barium sulfate reagent that we have prepared earlier. Okay, 5% solution, 5 ml we have to use, and we will stir the solution and wait for 5 minutes and then observe the turbidity. This is the procedure for test sample. Now, we will move towards standard sample. For standard sample, we will take about 0.1089 weight by volume solution of potassium sulfate in Nessler cylinder and add 2 ml of dilute HCl. We will add water to it to make the mark up to 45 ml, solution up to 45 ml, about 41 ml of water will be required. We will add 5 ml of barium sulfate, and finally, we will stir the solution in wait for 5 minutes. We are having both the two solutions here. One is test sample solution and standard sample solution, and we will compare the turbidity or opalescence of both the samples and come to the inference. So, here again we will be having two inferences, that if the opalescence in sample solution is less as compared to the standard solution, the sample will be said to be pass the limit test. If the opalescence is less as compared to of the sample solution is less as compared to the standard solution, the solution is said to be pass the limit test. Whereas, if opalescence is higher or turbidity is higher, higher turbidity as compared to the standard sample, standard solution, then we will call it as a fail limit test. The sample fails the limit test. We are having that sample either fails the limit test or passes the limit test. If the concentration of sulfate in the standard sample is less, it passes the limit test. If it is having higher, then it is said to fail the limit test. So, here we come to the, we will move to the practical part of this technique in the lab and study it. Now, let us see how to perform the practical of limit test of sulfate. So, we are having some chemicals over here, I will show it to you. This is what we call as standard sulfate solution. Okay, we have prepared it, I have already explained it to you. This is dilute HCl and this is standard this is barium sulfate reagent. I repeat, barium sulfate reagent. This reagent is used to study, or it will be responsible to prepare the obsolescence or turbidity in the solution. It is containing barium chloride, ethanol and distilled water with some amount of potassium sulfate, so that it initiates the formation of turbidity in the solutions. So, we are having two sample again, sample A and sample B. We are going to study this limit test for sulfate in both this sample and compare it with the standard solution. We will start. First, I will take 1 ml each of sample A, sample B and standard solution to study this. I will again take a measuring cylinder, rinse it. Now, I am keeping it in center. We will take 1 ml of sample A. First, I will rinse the carefully take 1 ml of sample A in Nessler cylinder. I will again rinse it. I will take 1 ml of sample B. In Nessler cylinder. One can use different measuring cylinder also for different solutions. Now, I will use standard sulfate solution. So, this is for one ml of standard sulfate solution. So, we are studying we are preparing 3 different solutions. One is sample A is here, sample B and one is standard solution. We have poured 1 ml each in this Nessler cylinder. Now, we will pour 2 ml of dilute hydrochloric acid in each of the Nessler cylinder. Two ml of dilute HCl in sample A, two ml of dilute HCl in sample B, two ml of HCl in sample standard solution. Okay. Now, we will add little bit of water in all the 3 Nessler cylinder to allow the reaction between HCl and sulphate, soluble sulphate. Now, we will add 5 ml of barium sulphate reagent. I repeat, barium sulphate reagent in all the 3 Nessler cylinder. 5 ml of shall rinse it properly. This is Nessler cylinder reagent, this sulphate reagent, barium sulphate reagent, we have poured it in it. Now, I will make up it up to 50 ml mark and we will wait for 5 minutes. Same procedure for sample B, 5 ml of barium sulphate reagent, make up the solution with distilled water up to the mark. And wait for 5 minutes. This is standard solution. We will add first, we will add 5 ml of barium sulphate reagent. Now, we will add water it. Now, we will wait for a few minutes. We have to wait for 5 minutes. Okay. After 5 minutes, we are observing the 3 Nessler cylinders. We are comparing sample A turbidity with our standard one, and it is dilute, it is looking light as compared to standard. This is what we are observing for sample A and this is what we are observing for standard. So, we can see it is lighter, no huge difference. So, we call this sample A is to pass the limit test of sulphate, as it is having less concentration of chloride sulphate as compared to the standard one. Now, we will move to sample B. We are observing the difference. This is sample B and it is having very high amount of turbidity and obsolescence as compared to standard. So, the obsolescence is higher or stronger in sample B. So, we can call this sample B to fails the limit test as compared to the standard sample. So, in today's practical we have performed 2 different practicals, limit test of chloride and limit test of sulphate. In limit test of chloride we have observed that sample A was passed to the limit test of chloride and sample B was failing to the limit test of chloride. Similarly, for sulphate we are calling the sample A to pass the limit test and sample B to fail the limit test. So, we have observed the specific and important parameter, we have studied it today and I hope you have understood all the parameters here. Thank you.